Now, what if somebody told you that Jesus wasn't enough, that you had to add something to be saved? Sounds wrong, right? It is. But that's exactly the tension the early church had to face. So, howdy, and welcome to Monday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, this week we're talking about Gentile believers being accepted, and today's focus is on something that shook the early church: unsettling teaching. Now, our scripture comes from Acts chapter 15, verses 1 through 5. Now, God had been doing something incredible. Through Peter and Paul, Gentiles, people outside the Jewish tradition, were coming to faith in Jesus. Lives were changing, and the gospel was spreading. But not everyone was celebrating. Some men came down from Judea to Antioch, and they started teaching something very different. They said, in essence, faith in Jesus is good, but it's not enough. You also need to be circumcised and follow the law of Moses. That created a serious issue because up to this point, Jews didn't normally associate with uncircumcised Gentiles. And now the gospel was breaking down those walls. But this teaching was trying to rebuild them. Now here's the real question. What's the theological significance of what they were saying? It's this: if you have to add something to Jesus to be saved, then what did he do on the cross? You're saying it isn't sufficient. And that strikes at the very heart of the gospel. Because the truth is, salvation is not something we earn. It's a gift. Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9 reminds us that we are saved by grace through faith, not by works. But this controversy couldn't be ignored. So the apostles and elders in Jerusalem had to come together and settle it. Along the way, many believers, especially in places like Phoenicia and Samaria, were rejoicing over Gentiles coming to Christ. That supported what Paul and Barnabas were saying. God was clearly at work. When they arrived in Jerusalem, the leaders welcomed them and listened to everything God had done. But there was still pushback from some Pharisees who had become Christians. And their struggle was this: they had added Jesus to the law instead of recognizing that Jesus fulfilled the law. They hadn't fully grasped the power of the cross. And here's where it hits us today. Any system, any belief that says you have to earn your salvation is missing the point of what Jesus already finished. So thanks for joining us today. Monday's prayer focus for America is that those in positions of power would seek Jesus and his truth above personal or political gain. Now remember Jesus, he's coming back soon. Now Monday's blessing is: I bless you with a fresh sense of expectancy, that your eyes of faith would open and you would begin to see all the possibilities that God has placed in front of you. And never forget, church is not a place you go to. It's a family you belong to. So come be a part. Now until next time, keep breaking the bread with the bread of life.